have distressing news.
Is the news that we suck? Because I really don't think I can take it.
No. Clash of Demon Head are doing a secret show tomorrow night, and Envy asked us to open for them. I hate you. A gig is a gig is a gig is a gig. Maybe you can put your history aside till we get through this thing, you know, for the band. For the band. For the band.
Can't we do our
For the band.
Can't we do our own secret shows?
All our shows are secret shows.
We're doing it. G-Man might be there. We play the next round of the battle on Tuesday. We gotta get some buzz going. We need groundswell. We need stalkers.
Welcome to The Secret Show on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. This is episode number 43, and Mark Sargent is checking in. Hello, Mark.
All our shows are secret shows.
We need some stalkers. Oh, wait, we have plenty already.
We need groundswell. Oh, wait, we got that too.
Yeah, we need... What else do we need?
We need mainstream is what we need.
Yeah, exactly. We need mainstream. We're going to talk about Flat Earth and how it's sort of made it into the mainstream, not for the better this past week. Just do what you need to do to get into Q&A. Chat is not enabled during the show, and that's part of the secret show. It's all about the Q&A, and I've also got a bunch of emails that I've received over the past week, and we're going to try to get to those as well. Mark, anything you want to add before we hop right into Flat Earth fun?
Yes, actually, I do have something. I have something here, a package addressed to...
Me?
Patricia Steer.
What?
And I know, isn't that weird?
You didn't tell me that. I was just joking. Really?
Ship to Patricia Steer, care of Mark Sargent. Now that's really weird. Why would somebody send me a package that was meant for you? Could it be a secret Christmas present, secret early Christmas present from a friend of yours?
Maybe.
Could be. Oh, wait, there's a letter that goes with it. How convenient. This letter says, open the gift first. Got it.
Exciting.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're one of those who tears gifts open, or are you one of those who gifts with wrapping or opens it?
No, this is what I did.
Yes. Well, that's not a wrapped gift. But when it's a wrapped gift, do you rip the wrapping paper or do you do it carefully?
It really depends what kind of mood I'm in. Anyway, this is a movie, looks like. This is for you. It is a gift. It is called Cosmic Journey.
Interesting.
It is a Russian film similar to Frau Mond, 1929 German film, only this one is Russian.
Wow.
This
Wonderful.
is the Russian version. I know, right? And I think they sent it to me because they didn't think you could accept it. So it's still sealed, and so I will wait until you make a visit up here, and then I will give it to you personally.
Oh, all right. Are you inviting?
So, I am inviting you. Yes, I am. Nice. Please come up and pick up your Christmas gift. Please tell her that this is a Christmas gift from Brian and Mirtha. And let her know that our email address is, and then I'll give it to you later so she can write back a brief note if she wishes to. So, and you know who Brian and Mirtha are. They're
yes, I do.
Your friends up in Canada.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brian and Mirtha. Really nice of you.
Yeah, all right. Cosmic. I did not know. And this one is tough to find. Not only do I not have this one, Cosmic Journey, but it is almost impossible to find even a ripped copy.
I never knew it even existed.
I did not know it existed either. So, and it's from 1940, I think. Wait. Nope. I have no idea what year it is. You'll have to look it up.
Very wonderful.
It's old. Yeah, yes. Who knew the Russians made this? So there you go. So you asked me. There you have it. Cosmic Journey. Early Christmas present. Yeah. Oh,
all right. Well, we've got the fun, wonderful things. Thanks again, Brian and Mirtha, out of the way. Let's talk about one of the sadder things. It may have a happier aspect to it, which is what happened with Art Bell and the Stanton-Friedman debate that was scheduled on the Art Bell after Midnight in the Desert show. Excuse me, not after Midnight in the Desert show on his channel, and how that's all fallen apart the past few days. And then we'll theorize as to why.
I sent a special op team to Art's location, and they harassed him for like 2 or 3 days because he couldn't get a better physicist to go up against me, and so he quit. No,
That's the real story, but
that is the real story. No, the real story. Well, okay, we don't know the real story exactly,
right.
but for those of you who did not know, let's backtrack just a little bit. That Art Bell was going to host after he did the Morgile and the physicist against the Morgile. Art Bell is going to host Stanton Friedman, the world's greatest UFO researcher, against me. And Stanton was going to argue for the globe, and I was going to argue for the flat Earth, and we were going to do it December 30th on the Art Bell show. And David Rubini was the guy that put that whole thing together. I did not solicit anybody. David was the one that did that. Well, what was it, 3 days ago, 4 days ago?
Yes, 3.
Art Bell just got up and quit. He just quit the show. So, and I had to hear this secondhand. So somebody sent me to artbell.com, and you guys can go to artbell.com. It's not a hard address to remember. And you'll see that Art Bell hangs it up. He blames it on terrorism.
Terrorism.
Yeah, something to the effect that somebody was harassing him, stalking him, whatever. He called the cops. The cops showed up. His young daughter, who was there, freaked out because of the cops. And he says, "Oh, I don't want to put her through this anymore. Therefore, I'm going to quit Art Bell and the Dark Matter Network and the whole thing. I'm just going to quit." So the first article was Art Bell quits, and followed by a small statement by him, followed by, "Here's how you can get your money back from the Art Bell Network." It's like, what? And then the rest of the stories were NASA stories. Not that that has anything to do with it, but it was kind of interesting. And that was it. I had not heard from, as of right now, I had not heard from his producer, who helped set the thing up with David Rubini. In fact, I've heard from David already, who's trying to get it together, trying to get other networks to pick it up, maybe Coast to Coast, maybe Truth Frequency. Who knows? Is going to pick this up? Maybe even you. Who's going to pick this thing up? I don't know. But the debate is going to happen one way or the other. And if Stanton decides to back out, I don't know who's going to pick it up. But I wrote
Stanton Friedman myself and asked if he would be willing to do it here on this. Yeah. A guy who also who watches this program and others on YouTube, who's a flat earther named Israel Adams, also coincidentally wrote Stanton, and a bunch of other people have also, you know, what they say, put a bug in the ear of others who would be willing to do it. I think Chris Geo as well, you said something like that?
Yeah, Chris Geo. I had heard rumors that Jimmy Church might be interested in debating it, which is fine. I don't really, you know, this thing's going to get debated, and if not by me, by other people. So I'd like to see a whole bunch of people get in the debate. So let's.
Well, now into the theoretical part, and this is pertaining to Art Bell. Terrorism. Now, if somebody were bothering me, and if I had a child in my home and had come to my home and harassed me, which is what Art Bell is painting the picture of, I would realize they've already been to my house and know who I am and where I live. I wouldn't call that terrorism. I would call it harassment or stalking. He chose the word carefully, terrorism. And that's kind of, you know, seeding the public consciousness, kind of pushing the terrorism agenda on the way out the door, it seems to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense other than maybe he's not doing too well on that network and decided this is a wonderful opportunity to just get out. We'll use this as an excuse. Or maybe the flat earth got him and he doesn't want to have you on a show. But that's less likely.
Well, I mean, as you know, I don't really believe in coincidences, you know, because even though I've heard of them, I've never seen one. And it is kind of strange. And I'll call out Jonathan on this one because, you know, my co-host, who said as soon as we booked it for December 30th, he says, "Yeah, that's not going to happen." He goes, "There's no way they're going to let that debate happen." And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because it's even though Stanton is older, he's still about as high profile as it gets in that circle, you know, as far as conspiracies go." And I go, what are they going to do? Shut down the show? And I joked with him. I was like, well, there you have it. So it is awfully strange that he would just, you know, go up and quit the show, because it was look bad if he just canceled on his own. You're like, let's reschedule this for something else. And they scheduled it a full month and changed in advance. Like,
well, if you do some back research into it, he's had numbers of threats given, or so he says. And I don't mean to doubt Art Bell, but I don't know the whole story. Who does aside from him? A number of threats and situations that have come up in the past regarding himself and his show.
Yeah.
So I'm not courting any stalkers, of course, but if somebody started stalking me, I wouldn't stop doing this. Doing this, small as it may be compared to Art Bell, is actually a lifeline, a life preserver. I'm talking to people and people are speaking with me. You see me. The minute I just go screen fades to black and you don't hear from me anymore, that's when somebody bad could really strike, because I wouldn't have a voice anymore. Yeah. So it makes no sense to me. There's something suspicious. There's something up. Is it flat earth related or not? We won't know. But what we do know is, in a way, it's good, because debating the foremost UFO expert is debating the foremost UFO expert who believes in planets and, you know, grays and all those sorts of things. So maybe that frees it up to have a different and maybe better, more valid opponent come your way.
Maybe. You know, also, should we mention the Neil deGrasse Tyson thing that came up 2 days ago?
Ah, please do.
Well, in fact, let's segue that. Sorry, that was a little abrupt. Let's segue that, and that was, look, you know, I'm not going to be shy about this, especially since the Art Bell Network is apparently gone, was that David Rubini, who set up the debate with Stanton, contacted, you know, Stanton was not the first choice by any stretch. He contacted Neil deGrasse Tyson right off the bat. I saw the email where they just refused, and he was just on that show.
I saw the email too. So
yeah, and he said nope, flat out. I mean, you know, that type of email that says no, this ain't going to happen type of email where they just shut them down. Not like, let's discuss it later. Let's waffle on this and that. And I was like, no, it's not going to happen. Why not? Why wouldn't Neil deGrasse Tyson even touch it, even though he was just on the show recently? Why not bring him on where he could just butcher me? That's the easiest thing. It's like, look, you should be able to stomp me into the ground, right? Just come on the show and say, here's science for you. Boom, 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 boom. Flat Earth done, right? Hasn't been done in 10 months, but I'm sure Neil could do it, right? I mean, he's got all that charisma, that personality, that swagger. So he comes on CNN a couple days. You saw that clip, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
he comes on CNN a couple days ago, and again, I was sent this from someone who it was you know, who saw it first, who put it up online first was oh crud, who's the team up, the African team up that's happening now? Controversy 7 and Celebrate the Truth.
Oh yeah, Celebrate Truth is going to be on my show later this week, actually.
Perfect. Yeah, they said. Did you see their trailer today?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, it's a 7-minute trailer for their new show that they're doing. It's great. Yes. In fact, he's going clean shaven now.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, looks good. Anyway, so Neil deGrasse Tyson goes on CNN. I can't remember which show it was, but you can find the clip online. In fact, I'm going to include the clip at the front of Strange World for tomorrow, the video part of it. And he comes on and he's basically telling the newscaster that science should not have opposing views get the same amount of airtime on the media. So, and by that I mean, so if science wants to, and he called this out, he goes, so if science wants to talk about a spherical Earth, the media should not give equal time to the flat earthers because science is the truth. Therefore, there should be no opposing opinion. It's like, where have we heard that before? Oh, countless times in the past. It's like, we will not tolerate any opposing views. Any opposing views should be squashed into the ground. But why? And that was the only thing he brought up. Out of all the things you want to bring up, you're going to bring up flat Earth. And he's basically saying the media shouldn't talk about flat Earth. He came on air and said this, which is weird because it's like, okay, but you're actually talking about it on air. So why would you even say that on air? Why not go to the producers off air and say that instead of going on air and saying we shouldn't talk about flat Earth? It's just bizarre.
Did he mention the Flat Earth Society? I think I recall that's how he phrased it.
Yeah.
The Flat Earth Society.
Yeah, give the same amount of time to the Flat Earth Society. Yeah.
Right.
That's how he said, which is ironic because the Flat Earth Society really has nothing to do with 99% of the videos that are out there currently.
Nobody who is a member of the Flat Earth Society, a real member, into what they believe in, and is watching this now, or any Flat Earth video, as far as I know.
Well, there might be a couple, but you don't know. I mean, like for example, if the guy, the first member, not the guy that founded it, but the first guy on their roster was Thomas Dolby.
Right.
The 80s pop star.
Right.
And
She Blinded Me with Science.
She Blinded Me with Science. Yeah. And you would have thought that he would have kind of chimed in on this at one point or another. He's still around, but he hasn't. I don't know if he's just missed it or if no one, who knows where he is now, but maybe he just hasn't seen it. But yeah, I never get contacted by the Flat Earth Society, ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Aren't
In
they
the beginning, go ahead.
fake in a way? I mean, aren't they just there as a trap, a booby trap on the ground for people to fall into as they try to find truth?
I said that in the Flat Earth Clues introduction, and it still holds true because I've seen people that go in there and they pretty much parrot the same thing that I've said, which is it's not that they're all bad, but there's dedicated people who have been there for day after day, month after month, year after year, thousands of posts where they're just saying, it's not real, go away. Flat Earth is a joke, go away. Flat Earth's a con, it's not real, therefore you must, don't even bother signing up for membership because it's not real.
Really? I didn't think it was that bad.
And it's more than one guy, and you're thinking, I'm sorry, and I wasn't kidding when I said this. If you're a troll, there are way easier places to troll than the Flat Earth Society. There was only 500 members at the time in the whole damn thing, and you're going on there every day. I mean, if you like trolling, you could go on YouTube 24 hours a day for weeks on end and not even scratch the surface on how many people you can troll. And that's where they chose to troll. So if you're dedicating all your time trolling that place, there's something going on there.
It reminds me of a message I got from somebody on a video that I did, a woman who's never commented on any of my videos. And I could tell it was a woman because of her username, but she had no photo and no videos. Her comment was, "You're only doing this to get popular." And I thought, if I wanted to get popular, the last thing I probably would ever pick would be Flat Earth. I'd be doing videos on, reviewing the latest lipsticks or something ridiculous.
Exactly. Oh yeah, you could do makeup tips all day long and get thousands and thousands of hits in 2 seconds, or dental tips or whatever. You've got great skin, you've got great teeth, and your hair is unbelievably pliable. So yeah, you could do all that stuff all day long. So it's true, but to say, you're doing it to be popular. What is that? Who wrote that? That's from high school. Nobody. Yeah, what I try to tell people is like, look, if I wanted to do conspiracies, this is the absolute last conspiracy you'd ever want to pick, because it's not just the runt of the litter. It's wastebasket material. There's nothing, it's horrible, but yet it's gotten more traction now. I mean, 2015, year of Flat Earth. It's incredibly amount of traction. I mean,
it covers every conspiracy. It holds them all.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you and I have talked like when you type in, and we just started doing this recently, where if you type in Flat Earth into the YouTube search engine and hit go with no filters, beforehand, back in February, it was, I think, under 50,000, right? And what is it today? 1.7 million hits on YouTube. That's I don't even know what percentage that is, but that's a massive, massive jump. And it just keeps getting bigger every time I'm in there, to the point, where's the tipping point? That's what I want to know.
When you go out in mainstream, though, mainstream society, when you're just walking around, you don't really hear people talking about it, though. Maybe some people do, but generally no. So that's where we're hoping to get it. To what end is a great question. Maybe we'll talk about that later on. Yeah. Here we are just talking about Flat Earth, but what are we going to do about it? That is something that let's try to get to that right before we close today.
Sure.
But I do want to mention, since we did mention Controversy 7, and you mentioned the video where Celebrate Truth and Controversy 7 did a trailer for their new show, their combo together.
Yeah.
And you saw the information on their show. His name is Robbie Davidson, and that is the guy behind Celebrate Truth, and he's going to be a guest on my show this coming Friday.
Cool.
So anyway.
That's a great team up. I'm so excited about those, because it seems so positive, like it was meant to be.
Positive, yes.
I mean, these two guys have 2 separate channels, which they're both getting to Flat Earth at the same time, and they're both in the same. I think they're both in Johannesburg. Is that right?
They're in the same city, live
in
very
Africa.
Close to each other, and just sort of were put together by a video I shared, which is really neat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Go figure. They call. They recognize from the phone number, the prefix. It's like, wait, Where are you?
Where
I'm
is
right
it?
down the street. What? It's like, let's do a flat Earth show together.
And that doesn't happen in reality. We've got Matrix Decode and Mark Knight, Wakey Wakey, and they are in Spain, and they do Flat Earth Rebel Outpost. And by the way, the new episode is out, and it's really great.
Yeah.
So, they're together. They do things together.
Yeah.
But most of the time, we don't live close to anybody in Flat Earth, generally.
No. In fact, I'm on Mars. Patricia's on Venus. Get that? That's
funny. Yeah. Let's do some flat earthing. What do you think? We've got
yeah. Oh, by the way, did you notice the?
Oh yes.
Like that?
New background.
Yeah, that's David Weiss's front for his clock.
Oh yes, it is.
Yeah, I thought it was
Very
pretty
attractive.
nice. I think he was the one that made it, that created that one.
I don't really know if he did or not.
Yeah. But it's kind of cool. It's got the ice ring around it, and the water is kind of textured, so it's got kind of a new look too.
The thing is that we're using the AE map. It's a great teaching tool, but we don't know what map is the real map, or if there is a real map, or somebody needs to actually do that for real eventually someday. That's a teaching tool at this point.
To scale, yeah, you're right. The real map may not even be revealed as far as to scale. I think the continent layout may be similar, but even if somebody, like I was just thinking about that the other day, and that is, even if somebody has the real map, the actual what it looks like, you couldn't put it on anything, because what perspective would you put on it? Like this is the azimuthal equidistant perspective, which isn't perfect by any stretch, but it's as close as we got, and that's what they put on the UN flag. I think the real one is telling enough that they can't actually put that on anything, the correct proportions, because it would give away too much. People would figure that out.
David Weiss just messaged me, and he said he did not create the artwork for that. So
he didn't
want to take credit where it's not due.
He stole it?
No, I'm sure it was
nice. Thanks, David. Great. That's great. No, who made that? Somebody email me and tell me who made that thing.
David might know. He might message me back. All right, glasses go on so I can read small print. Right. There we go.
Note to viewers, Patricia is legally blind.
No, only small print up close, like reading emails. So, I mean, this kind of a print here is quite small. These are the emails.
How many fingers? See, you hesitated. Wow. That's horrible.
Hopefully that wasn't a Masonic hand signer. You're in big trouble.
No, it's two threes in front. No, this is no.
Oh, wait a minute. Somebody's going to say 2 3.
No, it isn't.
What that adds up to? Put your hands down. Seriously, if you're in any aspect of conspiracy world, you cannot.
I can't do anything.
Use your hands. It's horrible. I used to kind of use my hands. If somebody will freeze frame the video and say, "Look, she's making this sign. Look, he's making that sign," and you're not.
Let's turn. Well, nobody's ever done Wolverine has done the crossed claws type thing. So, Americans do peace, right? But like in Britain, if you spin it around, then it's up yours.
Exactly.
So whatever.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
I have no idea, but I think it had something to do with flat Earth.
Oh yeah, we do the Neil deGrasse Tyson thing.
Yes, and then we'll go to these emails. Neil deGrasse Tyson, he was saying that he doesn't want to talk about flat Earth. Don't give flat Earth equal time as you would on mainstream to real evidence.
Yeah,
which is
why even say that on national television? Why not do that behind closed doors? Why go on air and say that? Who are you talking to? If you're saying that, why aren't you doing this?
What Bush said. Let us not, I don't know the exact quote, let us not entertain conspiracy theories in regard to 9/11.
Yeah, but he was also the same guy that screwed up fool me once, fool me twice.
Well, right, but what he was telling people, the masses, is don't go there. Don't go to flat Earth. We don't have time for meeting the Flat Earth Society, like Obama says. Neil is saying don't look at flat Earth. Bush said don't look at conspiracy theories, which means
you're playing right into that though, but because he's talking about it. Remember what I said? You can't talk about it and not talk about it.
Okay, so you think they're trying to get us to look at these things? I don't think that they are.
It feels like it. Hey, do you want to before we get into our thing, do you want to talk about Kubrick at all?
Yes, I do. In fact, I've got a couple DVDs I brought just for show and tell. I've got Room 237 here in my collection. I've got. We should
probably preface what that means. Room 237 and Kubrick's Odyssey.
So you have all three. Odyssey, and then I've got this follow up. Yes, I do, and plus other movies like 2001 and or Eyes Wide Shut.
So. Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, you've got a lot of Kubrick films. Stanley Kubrick considered to be in the running for the top directors of all time.
Shining.
Yeah, Doctor Strangelove.
Yes.
And
others.
And others. No. But his most notable, he did not do a ton of films. Kind of like James Cameron didn't do a lot of films, but he made money on all. But his crowning achievement was 2001: A Space Odyssey, which took 5 years to make, and it is a gorgeous film. And you got to remember how well it has aged, because it was released in 1968, a year before the Apollo missions started.
It looks better than the ISS does now.
It does. It's gorgeous. Well, and I'm going to give Jay Weidner credit where credit is due, and that was, he realized, along with some other people, but he realized that Kubrick, not only was he involved with the Apollo program secretly, but he was to instead of confessing, instead of telling people that he did it, because he realized that if he did, people would die, he built his confession into the movie The Shining, which he directed in 1980 with Jack Nicholson, and which was based on a Stephen King book. And he took the book and he just altered so many things that it really wasn't the same movie as it was the book. And Jay Weidner just found all the tells along the movie, and it was very, very cool. Well, okay. So that's cool. Everyone's interested, and I mentioned that in the clues. Room 237. Excellent.
Here, I'm going to show this. This is the carpeting, and where he's playing with his toys is just like a NASA launch pad.
Yeah. On
that carpet. And by the way, I hate carpet, but that carpet is so cool. I'd love to have that carpet in my house.
Yeah, that was really unusual carpet, especially for 1980. That is a really weird pattern. I mean, Kubrick did everything deliberate, and the kid's sweater. We won't go into too many of the details, but the point is that Jay Weidner pointed out in the, you take your pick, Kubrick's Odyssey, Room 237, and what's the third one you have?
Sorry, I'm in the middle of putting this away here. I'll show you.
That's all right.
It's a follow-up to Kubrick's Odyssey, and it's Beyond the Infinite, Kubrick's Odyssey 2, Secrets Hidden in the Films of Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, okay. Got it. And
it's Jay Weidner as well.
Yeah, again, Jay Weidner, who, he's not a flat earther. He's really against it. I know, because he's a big fan and has worked closely with Richard Hoagland, who I've mentioned several times. If the flat earth comes out, Richard Hoagland will have to officially retire and go pull his drapes in his living room and then never come out. Unfortunately, because there is no Mars and Venus to go to. Not from the way it's been advertised anyway.
Not rocks in space we can land on.
Not rocks in space we can land on. Could there be other puddles called Venus and Mars? Yeah, sure. But they're not up there. They're probably over there. Doesn't really matter. The point is that Jay Weidner did some wonderful stuff there, and if you guys want to check it out. So playing on that, there was some interesting stories that came out simultaneously. One was the anniversary of one of the Apollo things that happened recently. And simultaneous during the same day, there was a real story that came out where, oh geez, who was the guy that directed Blade Runner? It was Ridley Scott. He came out and said that that the producers didn't like the way he was going to end Blade Runner with them going into the elevator, so that he knew Kubrick. So he called up Kubrick and says, look, I know you've got extra footage from The Shining. Can you give me kind of like a happy ending, like drive up into the sunset kind of a thing for my movie? And, I'll just take the footage from you and put my credits on it. And Kubrick says, yeah, I've got this nice helicopter footage of a car driving into the Rocky Mountains, and it's really, really cool. So that's how Blade Runner ended, with Harrison Ford and Sean Young driving off into the nice, away from the city, away from Los Angeles. Well, the same day that came out, if I'm not mistaken, somebody released, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, not that it really matters. Somebody released a fake confession from supposedly a confession that was taped in 1999.
Yeah, like a 15-year-old convention. I saw it on something called the PlayStation Channel first.
Yeah, the PlayStation Channel was the ones that put it out there, and that's where I grabbed most of my stuff too. And I bid on it first. I thought, I so wanted it to be real, because it was supposedly Stanley Kubrick in a dark room, gray hair, kind of looked like Jerry Garcia. who said, went in great detail, like not technical detail, just the whole concept about why they faked the moon landings, who he was talking. He dropped a whole bunch of names, and it seemed pretty legit. Well, for some reason, I don't know how, the outtake reel also got put somewhere on the internet, and I got a hold of it and ripped it and brought it down to my machine. So at surface's glance, you saw what appeared to be a real Stanley Kubrick. I mean, it's a conspiracy person's dream. If it was real, Jay Weidner would have been completely vindicated, and his career would have, gone up through the stratosphere. But the outtake reel was and the director, it kind of hinted at it anyway. The director was just a jackass. He was just, really yelling. Nobody's going to be yelling at Kubrick, really telling him how to do an interview. But in the outtake reel, he called him Tom. First off, called him by his real name several times, and then was giving him stage direction on what to do. It's like, okay, you're going to tell it like this. And he was really specific about how he was going to tell things. And so I initially took the original one, had it posted on my channel. It was getting hits. People were liking it totally, but and then I realized once I saw the fake one a few hours later, pulled down the original, put up the fake one, said, look, beware, it is not real. And at the same time, I'm putting up telling people, it's like, look, it is not a real Kubrick confession. The Daily Star from UK is running it as a real confession. Yahoo News is running it kind of neutral. They're saying that, there appears to be a Kubrick confession out there, but his family's saying it's not him. One of those things, they're playing devil's advocate. So the question is, why did it come out? It's deliberate, of course.
I know exactly why, and I think it's because of flat Earth. I think it's a perfect way the powers that should not be, whoever put this thing together, would be able to silence those people who are trying to wake others up by saying Stanley Kubrick directed the moon landing, and it's fake. We never went to the moon, and never going to the moon was my gateway drug, so to speak, into finding flat Earth clues, and then finding all the other videos and waking up to the Earth is flat. And for many people, the moon hoax, was what woke them up to the whole flat Earth thing. And I think that this was put out so that people will be interested, look at it, think it's real, and then find out it's not real, and then say, oh, Stanley Kubrick didn't direct the moon thing. And so therefore we went to the moon.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's possible, but at the same time, you're running the risk of a backlash of more people looking into Kubrick moon hoax. I mean, honestly.
So why did they do it then?
Could it be a deliberate slip up again? Where it's being released, where they're trying to draw attention, deliberate mistakes.
Are they these people who are able to pull off hiding the ball from us for all of these years are that bad?
No.
I wonder. Look at NASA, look at the ISS, look at all the things that they do and all the CGI garbage they give us. Are they really that bad at faking things, or are they faking it on purpose?
I mean, you could say that it's kind of a good cover, kind of like the crop circle thing. Do you remember the crop circle thing from the early 90s?
It's still continuing today, actually, in the UK.
Oh, yeah. But they discredited most of it because, and most people don't know the secondary story, but I watched it because I was a big crop circle guy in the early 90s. Because a lot of really cool crop circles in England. And then all of a sudden, these two older gentlemen, come out and they say, and they, the media follows them around with some boards and some ropes, and they made some really crude circles. They weren't even that symmetrical. And they say, these two guys are responsible, and they made the crop circles. Well, there was a problem with that. One, some of these crop circles were way bigger than these guys could have ever made. I mean, covered like 500,000 square feet, especially like the one from Milk Hill. But the second thing was, which most people don't remember, is the same newspaper or the new media company that owned the newspaper that initially wrote the story, they offered, and I remember when they offered this because I remember the story that was offered, which was they said, hey, anybody that can prove to us they did a crop circle, we're gonna pay you a cash reward to do it. Do you know how much they were talking about paying them? 50,000 pounds, which is what, $75,000 American, and that's in the early 90s. That's a little chunk of change there. And so what do you think was going to happen? These two guys drunk, watching the television going, we can totally do this. Basically, first people that could show up, that could, figure out how to make a crop circle, got paid $75,000. And these guys got it. They just ran with it. So everybody, remember, and in fact, the woman on Ancient Aliens, the woman that you're being accused of all the time.
Oh, people say that I'm Linda Moulton Howe, actually, with lots of plastic surgery.
Yeah, Linda Moulton Howe came out and said, she goes, it was one of the finest pieces of disinformation ever, because everybody pointed, when anyone ever brought up crop circles, they said, oh, it's these two guys. It's always these two guys, even though you know nothing about the story, know nothing about it was associated with these two guys. Therefore, it must not be true. So maybe that's what they were doing with the Kubrick thing, which was if the Kubrick, somebody put it pretty well in one of my comments. He goes, so the hoax is a hoax? So, one of those things where if the fake Stanley Kubrick is tied, gets muddied up in somebody's head as being a hoax, then maybe the whole moon thing the moon conspiracy becomes a hoax too. Get it? Sort of, it clouds things up a bit.
Kind of what I'm saying. And those guys are named Doug and Dave, Doug Bauer and Dave Choley, the guys who did the
crop circle.
Said they did the crop circles. So
yeah, I think they're dead now. For sure. That was like
that's what happens when you are working out in the night with boards and ropes.
No, I think they died of old age. I think that was like 25 years ago, and they were not young to begin with.
Right.
So anyway, but the Kubrick thing, fascinating. It's still going on. I mean, you can look it up. Kubrick moon hoax or whatever it is. It's still on Yahoo News. It's still actually on YouTube by some YouTubers, none that I know, as being presented as real, with 8,000 hits on one, 7,000 hits on another. Oh, no. Somebody took my original one that I posted, the first one that I posted as legit.
Yes.
And they ripped it and put it up on their channel. It's got 120,000 hits today. It's got more hits than my outtake reel.
It's sad in a way, because a lot of people are trusting those of us in the flat earth world to only put things on our channels and on our Facebook and Twitter that are legit. And some of us got fooled for a short period of time before we figured it out, but that's just going to happen.
Yeah.
We can be as watchful as possible, but it's going to happen. And, we just have to be more critical and really look things over before posting them. And we're all guilty of this, but also it's fantastic that so quickly it was solved by what you call internet hive mind.
Yeah.
It's hats off to all of us for that.
Yeah, and I tried to turn it into a positive thing when that was okay. Fine, the Stanley Kubrick hoax was solved in a few hours. Yeah, flat Earth, 10 months and change, 10 months and going. It just keeps getting bigger. Was it? Yeah, it just keeps getting bigger, and there's no magic bullet for it. What was the analogy I came up with the other day? It was flat Earth is like a big old werewolf just running up and down the countryside. Nobody's got the silver bullet to stop it, although everyone says they've got it. And since they don't, it just keeps loping along, just getting bigger and just ripping up things. And try to stop it. No one can. 10 months.
This is The Secret Show. It's part of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, and Mark Sargent is here. I'm Patricia Steer, and we're working on episode number 43. We're going to move to your Q&A in just a moment, and if you've got Google+, sign in and then ask a question, and we'll read those. I also have requested, and always do, if you want to ask a question but can't get into the Q&A for whatever reason, some people can't because they're using handheld devices, you can also email me at misssteer, MISSSTEERE @gmail.com. If you send anything now, it will go for next Monday's show. But I do have some that I'll read, and then we'll get to the Q&A. We have a message from Hando Tonoma, who is the guy who is the main man, the main man at Telegram magazine, Conspiracy Magazine, Estonian magazine.
Telegram.
And many flat earthers were recently featured in the most recent edition of Telegram magazine, which we've shown you here on a past episode of The Secret Show. Anyway, his question is, how do you think the autopilot works without GPS when the planes are flying on the southern planosphere? How does the autopilot work without GPS when the planes are flying on the southern planosphere?
Lots of planes use autopilot without GPS because GPS has only been around since the 90s. So pretty much every plane flight before, with the exception of the ones that use the Loran system, Without using GPS, if we're just talking about hitting the autopilot like on a Cessna or something like that, it just uses the gyro to stay level. That's it.
Right.
You know, and whatever the left right, it just centers. That's all it does. It doesn't do anything special. It just ties straight to the gyro, and that's old school tech right there, because the autopilot, that's been around for a long time.
All right. The next message I have here is a comment, and I'm not going to say from who because I don't know whether they want their name read. They link for me a 1957 Disney educational film on mathematics, and I'll describe it. Donald Duck learns basic concepts that are usually taught in esoteric occult circles, like the mathematical complexity of pentagrams and the golden ratio. Now, why would this be on Disney for kids? Those are real basics of the, sacred geometry sort of thing. But at the start of the film, this person writes, it lists 3 people behind the story. None other than Dr. Heinz Haber, Nazi physicist, brought to the USA in Operation Paperclip. So there's a Disney Operation Paperclip connection right there, one of many. So that's very interesting.
Oh yeah, may I chime in on that just for a sec? It is no secret, and you can look this up in 2 seconds on whatever search engine you use. And that was Disney was a Nazi sympathizer, no question. There's a lot of German people that live in the States, and Disney was not shy, to the point where even The Simpsons made a crack about it. When they went to, I think it was the amusement park, the equivalent of Disney, the amusement park, and one of their walk-in things where you see documentaries that are playing on the walls inside the theme park was that they were joking about, and I'm going to butcher it, but that's okay. You guys will understand it. Please find it on yourselves if you get a chance. Which is, he says he made other films, including, what was it called? Nazi Supermen are our superiors, and that was, he was not shy about this at all. So yeah, the fact that what a Disney film in the 50s would have included some propaganda, it's very possible. Oh yeah.
And no today they do as well, but it's more like jokes, sex spelled out in clouds.
Yeah, just because the stuff is geared for children does not mean, it's adults that still produce it. It's not like Mr. Rogers where everything's super squeaky clean and sanitized.
Yeah, and get children young. That's how it all works.
Hook them when they're young.
That's how we were mesmerized by the globe.
Yeah, exactly. The globe is it's the only thing we debunk to children is the flat Earth. We put the globe in the classroom. Do not forget that. And
this fits right into that. This next email, and this is from someone who's going by the name of Scott B. I've watched every video you and Mark have released. It's been a pleasurable experience.
Wow.
When I was young, around 10 or 12, I remember always thinking the earth can't be spinning. And also, I never bought into what they taught us about gravity. I would make comments, but everyone just seemed to brush me off with lame excuses and made me feel like I was stupid. I always thought outside of the norm, and it's left me for years being the oddball. I gave up on talking about anything that's not well accepted as fact, but I didn't stop thinking and trying to reason with how I view the world. Anyway, a little story. I come from a small town with a population of 200 or so. Things happened and we moved to the city. Although we only moved about 400 kilometers away, things are very different. When I would go visit family in my hometown, I would tell them simple things like we have TV channels, 50 different ones, and my cousins would call me a liar and say there's no such thing, or that you can plug a phone into anywhere in your house. Cousins laughed. The more I spoke, the more upset they would be, telling me I'm just full of it pretty much. I also noticed when I would return home and mention things about my small town, they also thought I was nuts. It didn't bother me too much because I know the truth. Got to turn the page here. You and Mark are right about this and how to approach subjects with people. Flat Earth has to be the most controversial subject of all times to bring up. It's like you just punched them in the face and they want to hit you back. Now, this Flat Earth thing. My son sees me watching all the videos on this subject. He's 9. He'll argue with me and tell me Earth is round and tells me all the reasons why. I love his insight and reasoning, but it goes to show at such a young age it is already embedded in their minds. I'll let him decide on his own whatever he wants to believe when he's older. I try to tell him to always ask questions and keep an open mind. Good message.
Yeah, that's excellent. And to his point, it's an old saying, but it's a good one. That is, people mock what they don't understand. It's the most common. It is our most common reaction to things we do not get, and it is timeless. People will, if they don't get it, people say that's dumb, that's stupid. And it's like, because they just don't get it. They don't know what to do. The mind immediately goes to that. If I can't understand it, therefore it must be ununderstandable. That's not a real word, I know. Therefore, I must ridicule it, and that which is why it's also the first stage of acceptance. The first stage is always denial.
I think people get upset not just because they don't understand it and then go to ridicule. I think that they feel that they're smarter. They think you're foolish, and they will scoff at you because deep in their heart, they feel like they've got to defend the knowledge that they've got.
Yeah,
there's some deep psychology involved and pride involved in all of this, because your education is at stake and all the things that you've learned.
Pride is an excellent point, by the way, which you just brought up there, which is it's like telling somebody, it's like you're Chris Angel, one of the street magicians, comes up to you and you say, I've already fooled you. I've already fooled you for the last, how old are you now? 30 years old? I fooled you for the last 30 years. What's your first reaction? It's like, no way, you couldn't have fooled me for 30 years. I'm pretty smart. I've got a PhD. I've got 2 PhDs in physical science. You never could have fooled me. It's like, oh yeah.
Watch this.
Yeah, watch this. And it's people think because let's boil it down, shall we, real quick? And that is, it's not how smart you are now. That has nothing to do with how you got fooled. You got fooled when you were so young that it was easy to fool you. That's how they got you. They fooled you when you were 6, when you had no chance in the world. I don't care what degrees, what letters you have after your name now. That has nothing to do with it. You got fooled when you were just barely old enough to go to school. And they put the globe in front of you and said, look at that. That's where you are. And what are you going to do? You don't know any different. They hit you when you were most vulnerable. That's what you keep forgetting. Everyone relates to it in the present tense. It's like, oh, no, I'm 50 years old and I'm a prestigious scientist. I have friends that worked for NASA. I have friends that worked in the aerospace industry. You couldn't have fooled me. It's no. This was fooled generations before you. So don't take it as a matter of pride, because everybody got fooled. Your father and your father's father and that father before them.
It's very important, I think, to talk about flat Earth and to do whatever you can do to spread the word about it, whether it's doing experiments and posting them, or just telling friends, or bringing friends and doing experiments together, or doing videos or interviews, or writing books or songs, or whatever it is that you feel that you're best at doing. And the reason is not as much to wake up other people, fellow adults, is for the children. To stop the brainwashing, to give the children well, no, really, seriously, it sounds happy, but to give them a fighting chance to try to make sense of a world, a real view, or at least as close as possible, a view of the world as it really is, as opposed to this make-believe world.
Yeah.
It's immoral what's being done. It's immoral.
You're absolutely right. And they're the ones that are going to get this, because they're the most pliable, like your hair. They are the most pliable in this case, because not
all children are pliable. Many have been indoctrinated. It would be quite hard to get to them. But there's adults as well who are 60 who are getting flat Earth, 70.
That is true. That is true. And at least the open-minded ones. But people keep forgetting that you could put any type of model in a classroom that you wanted, and as long as the teacher was sincere and says, oh yeah, that's where you live, they're buying it. So the globe's in there, they're buying it. If it was flat, they're buying it. If it was a big cube, they'd buy that too, because we all believe that we would never be lied to. That's where we all grow up, and some people learn it quicker than others, unfortunately. And we don't want to believe that anyone in a position of authority above us would lie to us. And the children have a way better chance. Like anything, they absorb technology faster. There's kids that can text faster than most people can talk on the phone nowadays. It's with the flat Earth thing, they will be able to get it quicker. Oh, and by the way, to your point, how many conspiracies do you know of? And I know I've said it before on other things, but it's true. How many conspiracies do you know of where they're actually writing sincere, fun songs about this? You know, I've got my Flat Earth music list. You probably see it. There's over 50 songs in it already. Good
even
ones.
A children's song too.
There's even a children's song in there. And from all genres. I got rap, I got techno, we got folk, we got country. It's amazing the amount of stuff. I mean, songs don't get written about failed conspiracies. You don't see songs getting written about 9/11 or Sandy Hook or Boston bombing or JFK or Pearl Harbor. There's no songs written about that. We haven't seen stuff like this since the 60s. It's weird, but it's cool. And I'm proud to be a part of it.
We've got 2 more emails, and then we're going to hit the Q&A on The Secret Show, Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. This is from Carl from Sweden, who says, hey there, good work with the show. It just keeps getting more and more interesting all the time. Just watched a recent episode with P-Brain and got a bit excited when you started to talk about putting a camera on top of a balloon or rocket because of an idea that he had the other day. But then you continue to talk about the filming and hitting of the dome, which of course is also interesting. Anyhow, I was out the other night and came to think about the constellations above and how in a dome scenario, they are somehow stuck inside the dome. If they are stuck on the inside, then they should be pretty close. So if you put a camera on a balloon and send it straight up and film upwards, not filming the horizon or anything, just straight up, wouldn't the distances between the stars start to increase the closer the camera got to the dome due to perspective? Then it shouldn't be too complicated to do some parallax calculations based on the different altitudes and distances to get a clue about the height of the dome. What do you think? Maybe this has already been tested. We'll address that in a moment, Mark. Carl from Sweden adds, I saw that David Weiss is very high up on the most popular list at UFO Doomsday Site before it's news. He says he checks it out sometimes, and the article's called Spectacular Win for Flat Earth, and that was the debate that many of us saw where David Weiss debated Professor Fetzer and won in all of our opinions except for Fetzer's, and pretty cool and good work, David. So thank you, Carl. So I've always noted that all NASA launches where they have cameras, the camera is on the bottom of the rocket showing the fire, and there's never a camera on the top showing them popping through into the vacuum of space. So what do you think about what Carl was talking about, and balloons and cameras on the top of the balloons looking up and seeing stars and the distance if we live in a dome?
That's a great idea, actually, and I totally dig it. He's right. In fact, there should be rockets already. There's been so many rockets over the years. Why hasn't there been a decent camera that has been put on the front, the nose cone of one of these things that's shown what the heck should we be seeing when it gets up there? The most notable one, the most prominent one, which I love to reference because I remember when it happened, was JAXA, the JAXA probes with HD cameras that were on the front of the satellites that supposedly went around the moon. The JAXA, the Japanese space program, that went around the moon and were coming back, and they show like an Earth rise, and you've seen it, where the Earth rises above the horizon of the moon, and I'm thinking, oh great, this will be great. They'll just leave the cameras on, and we can see a great nose cone view as it's flying towards the Earth, and then it just turns off. There is no footage of it zooming back to Earth. It just doesn't exist, and which was amazing. But yeah, to his point, you're right. The stars what would we see? Would the stars start spreading out? Would they start blinking out? That would be very, very interesting. Or if you went up high enough, if you had like a view from the sun, because people keep forgetting that if it is flat, the horizon line stays at eye level, right? But if the sun is in a position that's up here, that the position of the sun should start moving, right? So as the rocket's up getting higher and higher, that sun should start lowering. See what I mean?
Yes, optically, you'd become closer and closer to the sun.
Well, you eventually should be able to get above it. And that's impossible, right? You should never be able to get that sort of perspective, not if it's 93 million miles away.
Exactly.
So.
Very good message. We've got 2 more before we go to Q&A, and this is from Gary John. He says, we've all seen the time zones on a generic world map and how the time is the same in any line from north to south. With the flat Earth looking somewhat different to the conventional view, how would these times pan out? Has it ever been looked at?
Read the first part again.
We've seen time zones on a world map and how the time is the same any line north to south. But with the flat Earth looking different to the conventional view, how would the time zones pan out and be different? How would time zones be different on a flat Earth?
On the southern hemisphere, they would be extended with whatever landmass was down there. So they would be bigger in the southern hemisphere, I'm guessing. That's just
Maybe somebody can post their thoughts in Q&A.
Somebody look at that.
We don't know.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
and thanks to Gary John for writing.
Yeah. Thank you. Unfortunately, we don't have, the southern hemisphere, the land masses. I'm sorry, the outer ring. If you're looking over my shoulder here, the outer ring, the land masses aren't as concentrated as they are towards the center of the map. So we might be able to figure that one out, maybe.
All right, last one is from Wayne. Is there any validity, as far as you know, to a second sun or any footage? Is it all a lie? How does it fit into the flat Earth if there is a second sun? I've got an idea. Do you have an idea?
You throw yours first.
All right. Well, people have seen it, and people have said that's a sundog. That's one explanation.
Yeah.
People have seen it and theorized that we live on a endless plane, and that there are many of what's behind Mark's head puddles, and we live in one of them, and then there's ice, and then there's another one, and that if you get farther out into the ice, you're closer and closer to another sun.
Yeah.
That's warmed up another puddle, and then if you're in that right place at the right time, even in our puddle, if you're on the ice or a certain area on the map, you can see the second sun. So is there any validity? Not that I can prove. It's just some theories. Mark?
Pretty much what she said. Everything you said was, yeah. I'm not going to be able to add too much to that. I mean, do I think there's multiple light sources? Yes, I do. I don't think it's just one sun and one moon. I think there's something else going on there. I do not know the details. We're still trying to figure that one out. Like the Antarctic sun, still trying to figure it out. I mean, I could explain it from a software standpoint, but people don't want to hear it, and it's too complex. I'm trying to figure out a way to boil it down into something that is relatable to just about everybody, and that's tough to do in every situation. But yeah, I think there's multiple light sources out there. I do.
All right. Well, time to go to Q&A. And if you have not yet signed into your Google account, then please do so, and we'll try to get to as many questions as possible. So we've got about an hour of Q&A, rapid fire. First one up is Rob Morrill, who writes, will Patricia seek out the rapper B.O.B. for an interview? And I don't think so at this point. Depends upon what he continues to post. He has been on Twitter talking a lot about not believing NASA. He's not a flat earther, but he has been throwing NASA under the bus. It could be an interesting idea. At this point, I don't feel the need to, but I'm not ruling it out. So thank you, Rob Morrill. And the next question is from deep inside the rabbit hole, David Weiss, who says, how much effort does it take to put a single nail in a flat wall to hang a clock? He's making fun of me because I have not yet hung up the wonderful gift he sent me that I'm supposed to be putting right there on the wall. And I'm sorry, David.
He needs a, what do they call them? Zook hooks? Z-O-O-K?
What's that?
The Zook hook system. It's very, very easy. It doesn't matter if you find a stud or not. Get a Zook hook. Get them.
All right, I'll look into it.
Seriously, Z-O-O-K. They're really, really cool. I've framed and hung a lot of pictures over the years. So.
All right. I guess, David, I'm sorry. And also, I guess it must take a lot of effort because I haven't done it. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate the clock.
That's right. You pay people to hang things.
Well, I'm not good with, okay, behind me, all these Smiths albums, I did have somebody come with a level and set it up for me because I didn't want to do it. No, I mean, everyone's got certain things they don't want to do, and it's
sully
fine.
my hands with manual labor.
No, I do lots of things, but that's just something I didn't want to do. We all, when you go out to eat at a restaurant that night, you didn't feel like eating. That doesn't mean that you're, you didn't feel like cooking. That doesn't mean that you're lazy or that you don't know how to cook. It just means you felt like letting someone else do it for you.
Hanging pictures is peasant work.
No, that's not it. I'm not good at, when I hang pictures, I try to measure and it never comes out right. And then I've got 20 holes in the wall where I only wanted to hang 6 pictures.
Let them eat cake and hang my pictures.
No. Okay, come on. All right. Seagra writes, hi, Mark and Patricia. From Mark, why did you put up the fake Kubrick footage without checking if it was real first?
Oh, because I bid on it. I absolutely wanted it to be real. I'm not shy about saying that.
Is it because you wanted it to be real, or you thought it was real?
I
Well,
wanted it to be real. So I took a leap of faith on that one, and I put it up. But in the back of but while I was uploading it, I was checking as fast as I could, and it was not up there very long. And the second I found the outtake reel, it was gone.
did you get a lot of messages from people saying that's fake? That's fake.
No, I didn't. As a matter of
You
fact,
got one for me.
I was one of the first people to actually. I heard from a listener. It was weird because the listener sent me he was just sending me clips of all the different clips, because it was broken down into raw footage, and then the one with all the NASA stuff that was integrated into it. And he said somebody sent me a clip, and I don't even think they had watched it. And I watched part of it, and then I saw a little comment. It was on the PlayStation channel, where the guy says, "Why is he calling him Tom at like 17 minutes in?" And it's second, I jumped straight to it. I was going, "Oh crap, I got to pull this thing down like now." But other people have left the. I did get fooled.
No one's perfect,
but not long.
Right.
But not long. But the difference was I want, and I said that in my description when I put up the outtakes, and I said, "Look, I want it to be real. I so am looking for the the brass ring on this thing, the thing that everybody can latch onto. Because if that was real, that would have opened up so many doors on that. I mean, would it have proven flat Earth? No, not necessarily, but it would have put NASA in a deep hole."
All right. Robin Poe says, this is a combination of Q&A and self-promotion, and I'm all about it. She writes, I would have joined earlier, but I'm just finishing uploading my new video on satellites. So go to Robin Poe's channel.
Robin Poe.
Video on satellites. It's going to be good. All right. Jordan Rains writes, any bets that Mark's debate with Friedman will be canceled for good? It's not really been canceled, but Art's closed his show. Jordan says it's not going to happen. What do you think? Do you think it'll happen somewhere?
You would be with Jonathan in that case, because again, he called it literally the day it was booked. The day I got the booking, Jonathan said, "You are never going to be able to debate him." I did not, I messed with him on that one, but because I said, "You can't be right on that," and he was. It's possible. We'll see if it gets booked. Let's put it this way: was it first time's happenstance, twice is coincidence, third time is enemy action, and that is if I get booked on another show and that one gets canceled, yeah, then I'm going to be pretty ticked off. I'm not happy about this one, but I get it. That also lets me know they can't control the initial responses. It also lets me know they're monitoring things. So,
up next from Allison Welch. Oh, sorry.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Somebody put me in a room with him. It can be public or not. I don't care.
As long as it's not a bathroom with a shower in it, because that video of him singing in the shower.
Yeah, that wasn't a gay reference at all. What are you doing to me?
I'm making a gay reference to you, not that
Thank you. Yeah,
you were making fun of me not wanting to hang pictures. So
really, and so that's your response. You could come back and say Mark wants to be in a bathroom with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah,
maybe. I'll leave that up to the viewer. Up next, Allison Welch, who says, "Was Mark a fan of the Fortean Times? Fortean Times, the Journal of Strange Phenomena." Were you ever a fan of that? Still being published?
I don't think I've even read a single issue, honestly. I mean, I know
blog too.
Yeah, I like a lot of the alien stuff, no question. But now that once I started, changed things.
Sound good?
Well, it changed.
No, I admit it didn't sound good because just a moment ago it broke up really badly. So.
Oh, okay. Well, because I was talking about alien ships with night vision is probably why. But the flat Earth thing has changed my view on it, on everything that is what we used to call extraterrestrial. Now I think it's all terrestrial.
Yes.
It's just they're here. They've always been here. They
may just live in the puddle next door. They're our neighbors.
Or with us.
Yeah, in a different frequency right here, next to me.
Or physically. I mean, I watched those ships, and every night that I watched, I was going, where the heck are they going? And then I realized it's like, oh man, they're probably either passing through. There's a highway, highway that goes through Earth, above Earth, or they live with us.
All right, up next, we've got an interesting comment from Justin Bernard, who writes, pretty cool. Flat Earth got a shout out at the COP21 Welcome to the New World Order Convention in Paris, the climate change thing.
Or the John Kerry thing.
Yeah. He said we should give John Kerry a Christmas card. And he asks, was the flat Earth clock behind him photoshopped?
Yes. Yes, that was, yeah. But the John Kerry quote, again, the mainstream news, John Kerry comes out within the same week that Neil deGrasse Tyson comes out and says that anyone that denies climate change, it goes along with the whole flat Earth thing, and the Flat Earth Society, let's put them on the wrong side of history or something to that effect. Basically, a derogatory remark, equating crazy people with the Flat Earth Society. Great, fantastic. Give me a psychological profile. I'll prove them dead wrong.
I don't really think. Okay, there's maybe 3 people I can think of off the top of my head that I think have actual mental issues who are in the flat Earth world. 3. So.
And you're not going to name them because you're politically correct.
Of course not. People can figure it out themselves, I guess.
Don't hang your own pictures, but you'll.
I'll analyze. No. Up next, we've got something from Daz Willott, who says, could the new British astronaut Tim Peake going into space be a big promotion for the globe Earth? And has this mission been planned for a long time? He says he's not heard about this mission till this last week, and either had I. I'm not a big NASA follower. Prior to Flat Earth, I was never following what NASA was doing. It wasn't interesting to me.
Don't think that little story was an accident either, because how many times have I mentioned that the British were never involved in a space program? They went out of their way to stay out of the space race, even though they've got people there, they've got engineering technology and money and all this. They just stayed out of it and made fun of that. Remember I said Diamonds Are Forever, the Sean Connery James Bond film. Yes. Where they made that jab. It wasn't a subtle jab either, that the entire United States program was faked. Which even down to the astronauts that wouldn't break character to try to chase Sean Connery down because they were running in slow motion on the set. It was, it's that story was doing nothing but help reinforce the globe, along with the one that came out today. I think it was today, where the 6 Russians were going up in some vehicle. What space launch is this? They're piling 6 people into what exactly? 6 people going up in a new Russian shuttle, which nobody apparently has ever seen. Look that story up if you get a chance. Well,
Major Tim Peake was just a major in the British Army, and now he's going to the ISS.
Oh, that's great.
Which means he's going to a soundstage in some underground bunker.
Or he's going. Yeah, well, he's definitely coming to America. We know that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's happening.
Honest.
They even have a countdown if you look it up as to how many days. I'll show you this till his ISS journey kicks in.
Yeah. Hope you don't make the same mistakes everybody else made.
What are those mistakes? Lying to everybody? That's a karmic mistake.
No, I mean the same technical mistakes. Don't let those gravity bumps just throw you into the side of the hull. Cut your hair real short. Don't say anything that's out of place. Like we're flying over New Mexico right now. Don't say anything like that.
All right. Up next, we've got. Oops, slipped away from me there. There it is. It's Catering Art writes, hey there, speaking of German movies and German people, I have something that's on my mind for some time. They put the wall in East Germany up in 1961. Were the people of East Germany guinea pigs to see how people would react to a wall? Well, we've got the Great Wall of China, so I'd say.
Yeah, no. The Germany thing wasn't just to see how people react to the wall, although it is a fine example of what a wall will do for you. Because that was unique, because there was people on both sides of the wall. It's not like you were keeping you were separating 2 groups of the same country in the same country. So it wasn't, and it's not like the entire country of Germany was surrounded. They could go to other countries if they wanted to. So, but it was interesting. Yeah. Again, confinement in any shape or form is a bad thing, and people focused a lot on the wall. Yes, but it wasn't done that way deliberately. No.
All right. We've got a question from Matt Norris, who says, Patricia, when are you going to have Quasi-Luminous on? His theory is definitely interesting. Do you follow him, Mark?
Yeah, I do. I don't think you can do quasi-luminous just because he's so visual. Um, for those who don't know who he is, and tell me if I'm spelling this wrong, Quasi luminous, Luminous.
You got it right.
He does a lot of I've talked about him on a couple shows where he cuts out a lot of stuff and hand draws his own stuff. So if you ever remember those hostage letters from all the movies where cut out letters in the newspaper and say 50 million ransom or the girl dies, one of those things, he does that with everything. And so he makes these big collages and his mind is all over the place.
In a good way.
In a good way. Well, I mean, in a good way, but in a weird way. I mean, you watch his stuff and you're going, holy smokes, he is in a completely different realm when he's working with all his shapes and colors on the mat there. So I don't know if physically, I don't know if you could pull it off with you, because he'd have to share his screen. You basically, you wouldn't even see him. You would just see his camera running over all this different stuff. I just don't know. Technically, I don't think you could do it. But
he's got some interesting videos currently about flat Earth. One about explaining it on a deepest level. Two of them, in fact, that he came out with like 6 days ago, and then another video prior to those talking about how our food is poison. So he's got a lot of subscribers. Very interesting. Very well. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's you stare and you're just I've sat there with my mouth open, just watching, going, where is he going?
Yeah.
You just don't know. As far as thought processes go, one of the more interesting guys on the internet. I just don't know if an interview has even seen what this guy looks like, because you do video interviews. So I don't even know if he'd agree to it. Honestly,
well, it'd be interesting. I'll look into it. Sun gazing, earthing. He talks about a lot of interesting things that are not flat Earth related, but they are, because everything's flat Earth related. So Matt, I'm going to look into that. Indeed, thank you for that message. Let's see. Matthew Eugene Rosa says, speaking of the second sun, there's been an explosion of Planet X found reports in the mainstream media over the last week. It's getting super spooky out there. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
You were a big Planet Xer at one point.
I was a big Planet X guy. Big Planet X guy. I totally bought into that for for all of 2012 and even 2013. I had my hopes up. Now we're coming up on 2016 now. If it's going to, especially the flat Earth again changed everything, including Planet X. And if you see I have not been shy about saying this, if Planet X rears its ugly head in the sky, do not for a second start panicking, because it is staged. And how it is staged, we do not know. The technology that's being used to pull this sucker off, maybe the same technology that faked Chinese stuff, maybe part of the Blue Beam project. We don't know. But if you see something and people claim that it's Planet X floating around the sky, it is not what you think it is. It is probably something else.
Well,
basically, I'm saying it is not an entire mini solar system that's going to collide with Earth. It's not going to be like the end of Melancholia with Kirsten Dunst.
If we see anything in the sky, like a bunch of ships coming down with, gray aliens and bunches of cities being blown up, that also, I would imagine, is going to be, some kind of a way that the powers that should not be are attempting to kill us. So
yeah. Oh, by
same
the
as
way,
a Planet X thing.
You want some more predictive programming? Look at the and I didn't even know. This one came out of left field. Did you know they were making a sequel to Independence Day?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, with Jeff Goldblum. He's actually in it, and it's like a bigger, badder, where they come back and do more damage type stuff. And it is a dark trailer compared to the Will Smith version.
All right, we're going to go to a question that I don't really have a lot of knowledge on, and Thomas Schneider is asking this one. Jofar Vorin of Luxaria could be proof that there are land masses not on the map, which, ask yourself, if they lie about everything, why could there not be more land masses than what are shown on the maps, which we discussed earlier. I don't believe that the map we've got, the AA map, is correct. I mean, it's not the map I'd use if a gun was put to my head and I had to find my way around, doing, on a ship or something. So do you know anything about Jofar? I know so little about it, I can't pronounce the name. So
no, but to answer the land masses thing, yeah, it's very possible, especially now. When it was discovered, you don't know. But let's say, for example, because the South Pacific is such a huge expanse of ocean that that if you on a globe model, if you turn the South Pacific towards you, the Earth looks like it's all water. It's that big. So yeah, you could hide a landmass there if you really wanted to. The problem is, if it was discovered by a certain country, how could you keep the other countries from fighting over it? It's a tough geography is a tough thing depending on when it was. If it was found, the easiest place to hide it would be the South Pacific, and who would be fighting over it, and why would they be fighting in the first place? We don't know. It's possible.
Okay,
sure,
I
like it.
He's a guy that just showed up very disoriented in the late 1800s, claiming that he'd seen land. Luxuria was the land that he saw, and that's what that question is about. I don't know enough about it to say anything more than that.
Yeah.
So anybody want to look up that person and find out more? JOPHARVORIN of Laxaria, LAXARIA. So more land? Sure. I'm down with that. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Up next, we've got Hello, Patricia and Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. I've recently come across a YouTube video titled X-47B drone, which seems to show, I should have pre-read this one, seems to show you in Navy fatigues operating a drone.
Oh, me?
Yes,
no. Okay, one
old video. It's just it's not even him. And
and then I've got a family because I'm wearing a wedding ring.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's just a generic room. And why would I be a drone pilot? Oh, that's right, because I made the jokes about the strange world stuff that Jonathan and I would drone strike people.
It's the same as people saying that I'm actually UFO investigator Linda Moulton Howe. It's just people stirring up controversy. That's a troll comment.
Yeah.
To try to, or that I wear a wig, or I have a prosthetic nose, that I'm not a real person.
Well, yeah, you got to remember at one point I wasn't even supposedly real at all. I was a black actor, Michael Keyes, out of Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, that's right. And didn't somebody believe that you were a deadbeat dad at one point too, and had you fax them your driver's license?
I was also a deadbeat dad out of Boston, and that you know who made that video? That was Cesar.
Oh,
he actually made, because he was a friend of he followed Matt, and Matt said, "Oh, I can't trust that Mark Sargent guy." So Cesar looks up any guy with the last name Mark Sargent. Look, it's a fairly unique name, but it's not the end all of names, right? There are other Mark Sargents out there, and so he found this guy in Boston who had gone to family court and was pleading his case, and they record everything and it's public record, and they put it up on this website. He dragged it down and put it side by side with me, one of my video interviews, and he said, "It's obviously Mark." It's like, and I actually had to
wait. Was it a picture of this guy? No,
it was a video of this guy.
Oh, video of him. Yes.
And so it was a video, so he was doing like the frame by frame thing, kind of like a Dallas Goldbook thing. And it obviously wasn't me, but what I had to do was, unfortunately, it was kind of an inconvenience. To YouTube takes that very seriously. So I actually had to take a picture of my driver's license and send it to YouTube and tell them, it's like, look, this isn't me, because it's called what is it called, false identity or something like that. And so we got it cleared up, and he pulled it down.
So Cesar is not. He may not be on your side particularly, but doesn't believe that you were a deadbeat dad.
He wasn't on my side about 5 months ago. We don't know if he's on my side. I like him. He's from Germany, but
he doesn't think you're a deadbeat dad. He realizes that
he realizes at the very least I'm not a deadbeat dad. No, and I'm actually not a black actor, and I am not a drone strike.
Maybe you're a deadbeat dad, black actor,
sort of black imitation, I would be called so racist, so I'm not going to do that.
Maybe
but I'm
you're
also
all those things.
I am, I'm a drone strike pilot, a married drone strike pilot out of. In fact, people don't even realize it's like, okay, those guys that were doing that thing in that room, I don't think it was even drone stuff. It was just people that were on monitors. In fact,
there is a video out. It's just a troll video.
Look, the people that do the drone strikes, you're actually wearing full-blown military stuff. It's not like you can wear astronaut.
How do you know that?
Because you can watch films of people actually doing drone strike. It's not secret we do drone strikes.
Right.
They'll show you the room. It's like, oh yeah, here's these 20-year-old something kids, with headsets and the whole 9 yards, flying, the joysticks. They have full-blown controls. It's not like they just use
horrible to do that.
What? To
I
be
mean,
drone
it
strike
looks
pilots?
like a video game, but you're really killing people,
Well,
killing animals.
yes, that's true. But we're supposed remember this is supposed to be the secret happy show.
All right.
Supposed to be
All
stay
right.
positive energy.
All right.
Oh,
Well, this is more humorous, maybe not as positive, from Matthew Eugene Rosa. If you read the official police report pertaining to Art Bell, there is no evidence that there was ever a shooter, no footprints, no bullet casings, nothing. It's a fabricated story. Art Bell had to quit because he had the worst ratings in advertising of his career. So there's no police report for this terrorism that he says occurred at his
could be, I suppose. Again,
well, to me, it seems made up. But then again, I am saying Art Bell made that up. But meanwhile, I get angry when somebody makes up the fact that I'm wearing a wig. So I should keep an open mind about it. That maybe he was. Stop.
No. Patricia's hair is absolutely real and it's fabulous. I've never seen hair like that be that. Wigs are not that pliable. Let's face it. Your hair is amazing. What it can do.
Thank you.
It's true.
All right. Up next is Jay Sog, who says, have you guys seen the latest episodes of South Park? They've been nailing it on how the world is right now and adding the truth into their comedy in their own way. It's cool that Matt Stone and Trey Parker are like mainstream whistleblowers trying to wake up the masses. Or are they not trying to wake up the masses?
No, those two guys, especially Trey, they hate people. They will mess with, they are not shy, even in documentaries. I mean, they are not shy about telling people, it's like, look, we're doing a 360 FU to everybody. We do not care because we've got the audience, we've got the track record. They've made a ton of money, and they didn't sell out the way they could have. They'd only made one movie and hit it just dead on. And plus, they had some foreshadowing with the whole flat Earth thing, or at least the concept of the Earth. Remember the movie the episode they did called Earth Canceled?
Yes,
that was the title of it. Brilliant. I mean, and that was a non-flat earther that showed me that. You watch Earth Canceled from South Park, and you look at the foreshadowing there, where the foreshadowing was once people figured out where we are, once they realized the world they actually lived in, this whole place changes. Because that's, the goal was everyone was supposed to act naturally. Now that they're not, now that the animals in the park know that there's cameras on them, yeah, they can't have that. So,
Flat Earth writes, okay, I'm not a troll. That's the person that said you were the drone strike pilot. It was a genuine question. He says he didn't see a wedding ring and it looks like the spitting image. The person whose video that I saw, he's the fake Mark Sargent, is wearing some kind of white shirt. It shows the back of his head. It's got far more gray hair, a total different hairline, and I believe there's a wedding ring on the hand that's shown. But it could be a different video of somebody trying to do that to you. But the thing is that okay, there is a gainful employee. You can be an employee and be a drone strike pilot. It's an actually legitimate job, and I'm not saying that it's a good thing to be a drone strike pilot. Far from it. But if you were a drone strike pilot or were involved in the military, you probably would have told us long ago that you're involved in the military.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Because people would have figured it out. They would have found it. Look, it's been 10 months. People can dig up. I've given my full name, phone number, address. It is not tough to find information on me. And as far as I know, nobody's dug up anything along those lines. So either my backstory has been scrubbed really clean, or I don't know. I'm not a black actor / deadbeat dad / drone strike pilot. What else am I? Not.
I don't know.
Mark
K. Sargent.
More things.
Flat earther. Okay, Keith O.B. gives us both compliments, says, I'm looking stellar. Thank you. And he loves your shirt, Mark.
This shirt? Oh, yeah. This is me endorsing Under Armour. And I'm actually not endorsing Under Armour, but I know
what you're going to say. You like Under Armour because it breathes. Is that what you're going to say?
I love these shirts because they breathe really well. And I grew up with an athletic background. And so when I was growing up, we didn't have shirts that breathed as well as this stuff does. And I get hot. So I like shirts that really breathe. So thank you.
All right. Okay.
I don't look too much like a priest.
Shall we add priest to the list of jobs that you supposedly have?
And I'm a Jesuit priest. Yes. Animation.
Anime. I was going to say animation. That's right.
And, going for the Illuminati next. So.
Teresa Gordon says, Patricia, have you heard about the 3-day movie special, Childhood's End, on the Sci-Fi Channel?
Yeah.
I've heard of it from Teresa, actually.
That starts tonight.
Oh.
Check that show. And
Tell us about it.
Sci-Fi Channel is doing a 3-part series, I believe, called Childhood End. She has said 3-part, right?
Mm-hmm.
3-part series. Childhood's End, which is interesting because
it's 3 days, she said.
So yeah, I'm gonna download it. I'm gonna rip it and watch it tonight, or maybe I'll see if I can find it. The premise is, it's not exactly a new premise, but it's really kind of a dark thing where, kind of like V. Remember the no, you probably don't. V.
Yes, no, you know what? I did watch a bit of V back in the 90s, and I liked it.
80s.
It was the 80s.
Well, it was also, they remade it as well. But the first version was in the 80s. But it's sort of like that, where an alien race shows up and
Late 80s, right?
They're trying to help. Mid 80s, yes.
Oh, okay.
I think it was 84 because they had jackets that were very thriller, red leather type of. Anyway, but this one is kind of like an Overlord situation where they resurrect dead people to act as the voices, familiar faces. Like Steve Jobs would just all of a sudden reappear and start talking in their voice.
But this is a Arthur C. Clarke book.
Yes. Yeah.
That's been remade into this show that I didn't even know existed, but I know of the book.
Interesting concept. Sci-Fi Channel has some really interesting stuff, like Ascension. As I thought Ascension was a brilliant concept. It did not get that much airplay, and I wish it would have been made into a mainstream movie. I think it would have been really cool. But this has a lot of potential. Plus, it's called Childhood's End, which is, there you have. Remember what we were talking about? How somebody wrote me where they said that it's kind of like, if once we get to a certain point of awareness, the teacher actually comes into the room, and says, okay, now it's time for class to begin. Here's how the world really works. And that's what they're kind of hinting at here. Childhood's end. We're not going to be children anymore when this thing breaks. And they were talking about, though, that there'll be big ships that show up and other people. And the big message was kind of just, they kind of stole from Superman stole from them, where it's like, you're not alone. That's the big message. You're not alone. You don't have to be afraid. Now we can go to work. So cool. Yeah, glad she mentioned that. I forgot about that.
Okay, another question here from David Quintana. What happened with the video that was on Jonathan's Perception show, where there was somebody who was, I believe, transsexual? This person wants to know why Jonathan had that video deleted.
It was, he's still on his channel, but and the one he's talking about is Carolyn Cossey, Cossey, a British model from the 80s, very popular, but she was born male, and she had a sex change when she was young and became a model. And he thought it would be an interesting, since transgender is a very popular topic as of late, especially with the whole Caitlyn Jenner thing, he wanted to do a show on it. He did it. And what I always do is I say, look, I will put your thing on my channel. I will download it and put it up to my channel. And he didn't like the comments that he was getting on my channel. So he said, you know what, I'll just leave it on mine. He goes, I don't want to detract from Flat Earth in any way, shape, or form. So he said, just pull it. I said, okay, it's your call. I'm happy to leave it up for you, because I don't care about comments. I don't moderate anything. And, I don't ban people. I don't stop, you want to advertise your doohickey on my channel? Go ahead, throw it up there. Throw the links up there. I don't care. And so, yeah, I pulled it for him. There you have it.
Fair enough. I think that's nice that you did that.
Yeah. It's an interesting story. I didn't know. I'm an 80s person, and like that, I don't know if you remember the Power Station band when Duran Duran broke up into Arcadia and Power Station. They used her for one of their videos. And I remember exactly which one it was. It's like, oh, that was her? Wow. I mean, she posed for Playboy. Look, everybody thought, she was a full-blown, it wasn't like, it was only discovered much, much later that she was actually born a man. So sort of like, who is the actress? Trading Places.
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, she was born a hermaphrodite, actually, with the sexual organs of both.
Yeah.
supposedly.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was at birth. So,
Right.
and they had a choice to make. It's like, okay, where do we go with this? And, but, you know, she was a very convincing woman, very, very pretty and sexy. So,
And in the 80s, there were a lot of women who had very strong, I don't mean masculine features, but there was a look of very strong look with working out was very big then. Working out is always big, but that's when people were doing a lot of aerobics was big. Women's
yeah.
eyebrows, style
Yeah.
of eyebrows was quite thicker then. You know, these things come in and out of fashion. And then just following the 80s supermodel time, where this cost comes from, then the follow up to that was in the 90s with the waif look with Kate Moss, very thin,
Sure.
slender
Yeah.
women, very frail with very thin eyebrows plucked, you know, and to look very
Yeah.
vulnerable. And, you know, then models were called too thin. So it's always back and forth with this fashion thing. So she was a person who became a model during the perfect time to have that sort of gender bending look that she had.
Exactly. And last comment on this for me was what I think kind of gave her what people I think followed up on was the voice, her voice, because, you know, models don't talk a lot. You know, they just take a lot of pictures and you don't know what a model hears like. But when you're listening to her do this interview years later, you know, on Jonathan's show, she sounds, you know, a lot like an older man with a higher voice. And, you know, I was trying to picture, you know, trying to picture a feminine voice here. Couldn't do it. And I was wondering if that's what kind of caught her later in life when she was doing it.
And
So.
she was married as well. One time, I don't know about anymore, but I did look her up after Jonathan's interview to find out more. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Back to Flat Earth. We have another question here on the Secret Show, episode number 43 of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. Rob Morrill says, I've noticed the Earth hum has started up again big time. Even my non-Flat Earth friends have mentioned it. Any thoughts on what it could be in relation to the Flat Earth? Now, I myself have never heard the Earth hum thing that people talk about. You can find people recording the sound on YouTube all over, under names such as Earth hum or What's That Sound? What do you think? Have you ever heard it yourself? What do you think it could be?
No, I haven't. But I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I think the sounds are authentic. In fact, the Flat Earth has changed that perspective as well. Whereas, look, if this is a giant machine, you know, if we're in a giant building structure of some sort, there's going to be mechanical processes that aren't silent. As much as we'd like them all to be silent, I don't think this thing's absolutely bulletproof, flawless. And so, yeah.
But this hasn't been going on, as far as I know, forever. And if it was a mechanical process in some aspect of our world, then it may have been noted earlier. Seems just to be kicking into gear lately.
No, I think the sounds have been there for a long time.
But we didn't have the technology to record it.
We didn't have the recording ability. Yeah. Okay. I mean, think of when common recording devices came out for people. When was that? The 70s, 1970s? You know, before that, if you heard a sound, what are you going to tell people? Oh, I heard a strange sound. Nobody's even going to write it. That should be something people should look up, not just stuff that we've seen in the sky for years, like that wonderful book, the M.K. Jessup report, The Case for the UFO, where they go back in history a long ways. Look up, you know, strange sounds over the years. Yeah, that'd be interesting. But yeah, I think they've been there for a long time.
All right. We've got about 20 more minutes of going through the Q&A questions, so get yours in. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get to all of them. Just sign into Google, and then on YouTube you'll be able to hopefully click the box with 9 squares and then get in that way. I want to talk about, just before we close our show, Mark, let's not forget something I mentioned earlier about Flat Earth and what are we doing this for? What's our purpose in trying to wake people up and the experiments and all the rest of this?
To
what end?
Rule the world.
No.
To change the world. That's not bad.
Yeah, we'll discuss it in a bit.
We'll discuss it.
Cater in Art says, has anybody else dreamt about Flat Earth? I did a few times, and yes, I have dreamt of Flat Earth a few times as well. It may be because I'm listening to videos with my iPhone right when I'm going to sleep. Maybe that somehow helps it get into my dream, but I have.
Don't listen to Flat. No. Do I dream of Flat Earth? No, I dream about other things. But
what do you dream of?
I'm not going to tell you on air.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Let me tell you about my fantasies, Patricia.
Oh,
No.
I don't mean fantasies. I mean,
No, I'm just saying that's just an
dreams.
example. Why don't you ask me? No, good Lord, what are you doing to me? Oh yeah, there was this one dream.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse
shower.
Tyson in a shower. George Clooney was there.
Ooh, too much information. You went one step beyond.
Wait, what did I say? No, I didn't. Anyway, the no, I was trying to tell people because every once in a while I'll hear people kind of like you where they'll say, "Oh yeah, I listen to flat Earth videos as I'm going to sleep." It's like, it's because they'll mention my the flat Earth clues. I'll be like, do not listen to my clues while you're drifting off to sleep because all I'm doing is a narrative. So whatever I'm saying is pretty much going straight into your head.
But that's a great way to learn things. You can learn if you want to study for tests. Read the book or listen to an audiobook right before you go to sleep. And supposedly, according to studies, surveys say, studies say, scientists say, you will learn quicker.
Well, yeah, but it's a bad habit to get into. Because there's also, I mean, who knows what I could hot sex add into there? At the end of that, you just don't know. You just don't know. Send me money.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's see. Chris S. says hi to us both and says that he calls the box with 9 squares the Rubik's Cube. And it does look like a Rubik's Cube. I have entered a chat now, finally, on somebody else's channel at one. Finally, I did it and I got to see how it is to sign into a Google Hangout. So look for the Rubik's Cube. So thank you, Chris S. And up next, we've got,
up next,
slipped away from me.
3 things that can kill you in your bathroom right after weather.
One of them is Neil deGrasse Tyson, and the second one's his ego. The third one's the soap, but we won't even go there.
That's pretty funny. You're actually funnier than people give you credit for.
I'll be here all week. I will actually doing flat Earth shows.
Don't forget to tip your waitress.
Okay, so David W. Woods is a source of Ball Earthers points because he's done work on how it's possible to pass the Van Allen radiation belts. He's formulated things and done simulation charts. And Alex Rubio tells us this. Do you know who this person is, Mark?
No, nor do I care.
Well,
he's done a thing on how we got past the Van Allen belts. That's outstanding. Have him look up the Orion project. That was the video that's on the NASA website, which was posted in October of last year. Have them watch that about the Orion project and how they're so super nervous about trying to get past the Van Allen belts, and then tell me how they got past them in the 60s. Tell me.
Well, this guy does, these books, they're like how Apollo flew to the moon, the answers in our imaginations, and that sort of thing.
So, yes, the guy's a lost cause. Yeah, there's nothing he can do in that case. There's too much that NASA is missing. So
his books are on sale now on Amazon.
Fantastic. That's great.
I mean, on sale, like marked down, reduced. Buy now.
Yeah, just add them to the burn pile. And I don't mean the Nazi Germany burn pile. I mean the new flat Earth burn pile.
Yes.
Where we go through universities with torches and gasoline and burn it all down.
All right. Keith O.B. says, I listened to... Keith says, I listen to Patricia and Mark on my Bose Mini on the nightstand, streaming from my cell almost every night. That's what I do. I listen almost every night from my nightstand to whatever it is that I'm into because I just can't stop myself.
Really?
No, I'm always listening to flat Earth stuff. I have a little earbud.
Yeah, me too.
If I'm not watching, I don't watch a lot lot of videos. I know I miss out. I like to listen to things better.
I can't believe how many times I type in flat Earth and hit today, hit the filter today.
Me too.
Today. It's going to get bad enough. I know I'm going to hit, because you can do it like there's only one filter below that, and that is within the hour. It's like,
yeah, they need one like last 4 hours. That would work for me.
That actually is pretty good. YouTube, get on that.
Okay, so Grizz says the Jamie Lee Curtis thing about her being a hermaphrodite is just a rumor and not confirmed. So I am sorry for saying it was indeed fact. I don't know. I don't know her life.
I don't think it's a rumor. I think she's revealed it in several things, if I'm not mistaken. It wouldn't surprise me, especially well, it just wouldn't surprise me.
She has a very strong look, so that could be possible.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean anything anyway. Either.
No, it doesn't. But anyway, fine. If it's a rumor, it's a rumor. I don't think it's a rumor, though.
All right.
I mean, it's
Robin
been a
Poe.
long time rumored.
Yes, it has been. Robin Poe writes, do you think the recent infighting has had a chilling effect communications-wise on the flat Earth community?
Which stage of the infighting?
Yeah.
Specifically, are we talking about the old school infighting when it was,
Yeah, see, I wasn't around. I just came out. I just came out in March of
really?
2015.
That's where we're gonna go. We're first transgender, and now we're gonna talk about you. It's awesome. That's really great.
Yeah.
Fine. Let me talk about George Clooney then. If you're going to talk about whoever you're going to talk about, Jamie Lee Curtis probably.
Oh,
Makes it
no,
even
no.
weirder.
No, thanks.
No, the infighting. No, I don't think it's chilled anything. If anything, people again, I hate.
There's waves of people. They come and they go. They fight and then they drop it, and then they fight someone else and then they drop it.
And people love drama. I mean, look at your reality. There would not be a reality television show of any kind if there wasn't drama. That's why you do a reality show. Not that this is a show in any way, shape, or form, but every concept, if there's drama added to it, it just sucks more people in. So I welcome it. Anyone wants to magnify the infighting? Yeah, go ahead. It's just going to make things more interesting. It's not going to exactly help it in the long run, but
Well, when people make videos, even hater videos or anything that's got flat Earth in the title, it helps the metrics of flat Earth rise.
Helps the metrics.
So I guess that's one positive spin. I would just encourage people to stop fighting. We're all on the same plane. So let's wise up.
Somebody, people, make 130-second videos about how much you hate flat Earth and me and Patricia. And what you're doing, all you're doing in that case, I've said this before, all you're doing is you're shooting wooden arrows into a bonfire. You think you're doing something there, you're just making it bigger. That's all that's happening. So please, make hater videos, please. Bring it on.
Here's a question, or more of a statement, both actually. And did anyone hear David Weiss on Opie and Jimmy show on Sirius XM last Thursday? It was epic. Yes, he was on that show, and I haven't heard it, and I want to be directed toward where I can watch a video of that.
I think I heard part of it. I can't remember where. I can't remember who sent it or ripped it and sent it to me.
I'm sure it's somewhere ripped on YouTube.
David's very, very good.
He's so good.
He is. Good. I mean, I called Jeffrey Grubb the hardest working man in flat Earth, but that's from an academic standpoint. But David, man, he's
everywhere.
Yeah, he's all over the place. It's like, he does not sleep. He just run around anywhere. Anyone he could talk to about flat Earth, he's doing it, and good for him. He'd be a great. I'd love to do a tag team with him. Again, probably that came out wrong. I'd love to do a debate with him and George Clooney. I'd love to do a debate.
This is the Mark Comes Out show, I think.
No.
That's why it's called The Secret Show, actually.
No, all our shows are secret shows. I'm just having fun. But no, I'd love to do it, have David on my team for any type of, if it was like a religious angle, I'd pick Rob Skiba. But if it's just pure energy going after somebody, I'd pick David Weiss to go with me on some stuff. He's very, very good, and he's done the homework.
He's always thinking, and he's done some of his own experiments. Yeah. He's very good at explaining things very simply, and is just a questioning mind. And he's just, even on shows that he does that aren't really, he does a New York stand-up live show, and it's really a comedy show, and he's always managing to fit in flat Earth in there, or talk of things like Sandy Hook and Boston bombing, and all the rest of the people on that show aren't really biting on any of that, but it really makes for an interesting show. So
again, one word, if I want to sum David up, tenacious. Just keep throwing. He will just that thing where he was on against Fetzer, and he was just slide next. Here's my point. Next, here's my just throwing it in there. It was great. It was really great. It was fun to watch. I was like, try to stand up against that. Yeah, flat Earth it's no joke, people.
All right. Eric Barger says, I was on the USS Belleau Wood, Belleau Wood, and the USS Essex, the same class that your missile guy's on, and I can say that we always came to port a day or two early.
Really?
So that's Sean McCrary.
Eric Barger. Eric Barger. There he is, right there.
Oh, wow.
He actually texted me, and I'm sorry. Yeah, I know you texted me last week about this. I was going to mention you on my show, but now we're just going to let that go because you just mentioned it on Patricia's show. But yes,
Confirmation.
yeah, the USS Bellewood and the USS Essex would come into port a day or two early all the time. I thought it was because of security reasons. My name is Eric Barger. Cool. Thanks, Eric.
Eric's everywhere.
Eric is everywhere. So I can delete that one.
Yeah, that's a way for you to get through your email.
I guess an easier way. It's like, oh, thank God I don't have to. Well, because I probably would have forgotten because it was on my phone anyway.
I try to, because I mean, you have many, many subscribers and you've been in this a lot longer than me, and I don't have as many, but I try to comment, make a personal comment on my videos to people. I try to answer each email I get. It's so hard. And then I've got 2 different Facebooks, Patricia Steer and Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. Oh, it's hard to keep up. But if I let anything slip through the cracks, people get so upset. And it's hard. I don't want to let anybody down. And I really do care, but doing my best.
You can't do it forever, unfortunately, because they're just, the numbers won't let you do it. There's so many, I get so many, and I put my phone number on there. That thing won't stop ringing most of the time. You just can't get to them all, unfortunately. I mean, you try to, you pick and choose what you can. It's like anything, like any show out there as it gets bigger. I mean, I know you're a sensitive person and you don't want to let anybody down, but you're not gonna be able to answer all of them in the end. It's just a game of numbers. The math won't let you do it. I mean, how many videos do you have up there now? Like 60, something like that?
Yes, even if we're on show 43, there's other shows that I've done and other videos.
What happens when you hit 70? What happens when you hit 80? Eventually, you're gonna get to the point. It's like, I just do not have time to do it.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to hire assistants, and they're gonna look through, and they'll have to hire assistants. It just steamrolls.
Mm. Yeah. All right, David Quintana says there's a new band out called
Pictures, though. What?
I do need an assistant to hang my flat Earth clock, though, please. 2 of them. I've got the one from Ted Toth and
the one from David Weiss.
One from David Weiss.
I don't have the one from David Weiss. I do not know what happened to it. I did not receive a clock from David Weiss. I have the Ted Toth one upstairs. Normally I'd flash it in front of you, but it's kind of like that right there.
All right. David Quintana writes, there's a new band out called Flat Earth Space Program. Have you heard anything on them? We need to look into that.
Not yet, but somebody send me a clip and I'll play it.
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to get through these questions and try to get to questions from people who haven't mentioned anything yet. Lee Belt writes, what's of the most powerful telescope on Earth? Why is there no known pictures of it? Pictures of it? Are there pictures of the Hubble? Or are there just drawings of the Hubble?
We don't know.
I know the Hubble's not the most powerful telescope on Earth.
Yeah, there's more than just that telescope. Look, find. You're going to go down that road. Look up pictures of any satellites. If there are, and why we're having such a hard time even determining how many satellites are up there. Is it 3,000? Is it 5?
The answer.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah. The official number, the numbers that the governments give us, it's anywhere from 3 to 20,000, something like that. It's all over the place. Even if there's a few thousand satellites up there, why aren't they all taking pictures of each other constantly? It's like, hey, Fred, don't you have a satellite? Yeah, I do. Why don't you turn yours around and take a picture of ours so we can put it on our brochure? Nobody does that. Nobody does. It's all artist illustrations. It's a bunch of crap. And to go back to the old point, because people will say, well, don't you believe in satellites? I go, well, who told you exactly there were satellites? Same people that told you they went to the moon?
Arthur C. Clarke, perhaps?
Maybe. I mean, satellites, or was the whole concept of satellites just a cover because there were more lights in the sky that people had to explain? The fact that satellites came about the same time the whole UFO thing started coming out.
All right, Lee, thank you. The reason that, well, he was asking more of a rhetorical question. He knows why there's none. Let's see. We've got... Matthew Eugene Rosa is telling me who the infighting that Robin is addressing is about. And these are people that I don't want to mention. They're fellow flat earthers. And these are people who've said bad things about you and I, Mark. And they say that they do it every week, but I don't listen to their stuff anymore. So I don't know. And I don't want to know.
I don't want to know either, because again, let's get from point A to point B. If you disagree with something that I don't like, then fine, come up with a better explanation or model for something you don't like about me. Make your own videos and be better. Don't just yell from the peanut gallery and say, you suck. I've heard that. That's old school. You come up with better stuff. Don't, I'm not going to fight with somebody within the community. I will fight with somebody outside the community. That's right. Where our real target is.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that we need to be fighting in a sort of soft way against the lies that we've been told pertaining to the fact that we're told we live on a globe. But what the actual model of the land we're living on looks like, there's no real way to tell, and people are coming up with their own models as we speak, which will be refined as time goes on.
Agreed. But that does lend to the credibility of the movement, and that is, there's something there if there's infighting about what exactly we have here. Everyone knows there's something going on here, and it's substantial. That's why there's the infighting. It's because it's that the blossoming of all the concepts. Everybody's going against the life of Brian, the interpretation of the shoe. Everybody's trying to figure out exactly what it is. Everyone knows there's something there. We're just defining it. That's all it is. It's just fighting about the definition.
So many more questions and so little time. This is what, if ever, a debate will be. As for the Van Allen belts, there's a site called Bad Astronomy. Phil Plait, he goes into detail on how it was possible to pass through the Van Allen radiation belts. And this person debated with Joe Rogan at some time. So I don't know if that was when Joe Rogan was anti, or, I don't know where his head was at that point. The
official NASA response was they got through it because they went real fast.
Right.
That was the whole, and again, remember, Van Allen, he had to retract it, basically. He was the one that says, it's horrible, it's deadly, it's huge. And then it's like, well, how's the space program going to get through it? It's like, well, if we go real fast, it's probably not that deadly, even though it's thousands of miles thick and, can kill people dead, and that was their concept. And it's like, no. And even if it was, even if you went along those lines, the Orion thing that they released last year, and maybe I'll put that clip up again at the beginning of this next show, or then one after that. It stops it dead in its tracks. The Orion program shouldn't even be talking about it on the NASA channel, not Matt's NASA channel, the actual NASA website. They shouldn't even be talking about it if it's not an issue.
All right. From PAPI3D, thinking about the video game theme that you always talk about, Mark.
From a gamer's standpoint.
Exactly. The flat earth basically confirms a creator, meaning that instincts are not random evolutionary behaviors, but they're part of God's programming. An example, a newborn baby breastfeeding for the first time is God's programming. It's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. And again, God has... This movement will push people to spirituality, no question, whatever your definition of God is. And I'm not going to get into which of the 5 religions is right, because that argument takes a while. But what it does do is it goes into the building. And that is, look, even God has his or her tools. And that's what is beyond our comprehension. Yeah, we use a hammer and all the other fun stuff.
I don't, obviously. That's why I haven't hung up my flat earth box.
Patricia's toolbox includes a nail file and maybe a pair of little scissors. But God's toolbox includes stuff that is way beyond ours. But yeah, God has tools. He said, it says he built the earth. He put the sun and the moon in the sky and all that fun stuff. How did he do it? Beyond our stuff. Does this? I'll use this. I know we're running out of time, but when you make a terrarium, when you put the spider in the terrarium with the light bulb, does the spider know what the light bulb is, or how it got there, or how the plants got there, or how that little bowl of water or the sand in the cage, or where the air is coming from? No, all these things were built. Nothing was organic. It was all built. Is that any different than where we are now? Do we have any concept? Yeah, we've got some basic concepts of how it might be done, but the higher level stuff, oh no, it's
and built with natural materials. Doesn't mean they're built with, it's not built with it's not a machine pump made out of aluminum. underground or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, built with natural materials or energy concepts that we don't know of
Right.
or force
Magnets,
fields.
you know. Yeah.
The average person, like for example, we not to go off a rant. This will be real short though, and that is we've all heard about force fields, but none of us own them. Imagine if the average person could create a force field, or if we had the ability to use unified field engines and had cars like the Jetsons that were basically just UFOs that could go up, down, left, right at unbelievable speeds. Imagine the stuff we could all do, and imagine what we would understand better because of that.
And imagine that your body is a machine in a way, even if we're made of natural materials. So
what we call
our world is in a way mechanical, but that doesn't make it not natural, and that doesn't take God out of it. But check this out. Oh, it's heavy. This is my toolbox, in case anybody was wondering. I have a toolbox. There's no nail files in there either.
Does it have an NSA sticker on the side?
No, it's got all this stuff, you know, like
CIA,
this and then
FBI,
this.
DOD.
No, I've got things you need to
naval intelligence
stuff. I even have these magnets. The toolbox is metal, so it's impossible to get them out. But they're magnets that would be really great for a flat Earth.
Oh, did you
get
get that?
Magnets? They're super strong.
Did you get that during the Guantanamo tour that was on last year?
Stop.
What? They gave those out. I didn't get
they're
one.
They're really heavy. I mean, they're. I don't mean heavy. They're very strong. I mean, anyway, closing up my toolbox.
Wait, where was this?
Where was my toolbox?
Yeah.
When you were talking, I went into the other room and grabbed it.
You left to the other.
Yeah. Well, it's right next to me.
There's
like a utility room.
I'm not even watching you. You're not even there. Just let me talk.
Well, yeah, but I can hear you. It was just like right over there. Okay, so toolbox. Here it is. It's cool too. Heavy, very heavy. Oh, okay.
She has a toolbox. Now, whether or not she uses it, that's a whole.
I've used some of that stuff. Yes, I don't know how to build my own things. Wait a minute. If I wanted to know how to build things, I could. It's just not something I desire to do. I definitely have the ability to do so if I wanted to. Yeah. Hey.
Yes.
Okay.
Translation: building things is beneath me.
No, stop it. Stop it. Or I'm going to talk about Neil deGrasse Tyson again. And you.
Ooh, in the shower.
In the shower.
Soaping up. Well, because he had that video that
right. That's why I bring it up. There's a video of him in the shower with a shower cap on, and it's kind of creepy.
Oh yeah, and it's a slowed down version of what was that song? Fire. By that band from Georgia, REM, right?
Oh,
it was an REM song.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I didn't listen to it. I only saw it without the volume off, and I guess I'm probably glad I did. I only saw part of it. Okay, so what I wanted to touch on before we close off the secret show for the day is
all our shows are secret shows.
Why are we doing this? The reason why we're I do. Just a little. Not as much as, Neil does, but okay.
Cat water.
Why are we doing this? What's the reason? The reason we're doing this is for ourselves, to free ourselves from lies, and for our fellow friends that we may have, family members, to try to help them along, even total strangers, and for children so they don't grow up with the globe and the spinning and the satellites and all of the other indoctrination that we fell for accidentally because it was given to us when we were too young to actually have our own mind. You can't really say that it makes a better world, though, if we all become flat earthers. I'm not sure what kind of world would come out of it. We have to work as if we could create a better world and deal with problems as they come up. What are your thoughts on this, Mark?
I don't think my views have really changed since Clue 8, I believe, which was creative force, which was it will open things. Well, Clues 8, 9, and 10. 8, 10, 11. It will open things up, which means I don't think we will be as malicious towards each other if we find out the world is much more intimate than we were led to believe. So again, if we're all in the same boat, literally, if we're all in the same structure, if we're all actually roommates and family members, literally, not figuratively, it's like, we're all one big community world. No, I mean, you're literally all in the same freaking room. in the same machine, then wouldn't we all join forces at that point? Wouldn't we all have a common goal? And that is to figure out where we are. We wouldn't be, I mean, there'd still be greed and money problems and stuff like that, but there'd be this common goal to find out where we are and where do we go from here. And I think that would reduce a large part of the pain that's in the world. The biggest part, of course, is if we have a parent looking over our shoulder, and that parent has been there this entire time, and everything you've done up until now you were accountable for, doesn't that change how you're going to act moving forward? And how we treat each other. And I know I'm kind of being an optimist in this case, but I think it could really, really help us. Does that mean we're guaranteed a golden age if everyone all of a sudden realizes it's a flat earth? No, it's still going to be up to you. Everybody that's listening, everybody that's going to listen, it's going to be everybody's individual decision how you handle this, how you handle this new responsibility, this new paradigm. And I just hope everyone makes the right call.
What we all need to do is whatever it is that you do best, whatever method you think is the way you can express yourself, get your tools, whatever your tools are, and use them to try to help others discover flat earth. And, if not for yourself, for the children.
For the children.
All right, Mark, thanks for another fantastic secret show.
Thank you.
And thanks to everyone who asked questions and emailed. And we will do it again next Monday, same time, same place. All right? All right. That's Mark Sargent, and I'm at this point talking to myself. I'm Patricia Spear.
I was listening. I was just letting you close the show. I didn't want to interrupt.
Keep it flat and hammer forward into a flat earth world.
George Clooney.